Hello, everyone, and today we're going to talk about Neil Armstrong and just part of his life and stuff surrounding the space exploration, NASA, and etc. I'm joined with Zach.
What's up, guys?
So when I heard of Neil Armstrong died yesterday.
Yes, that's correct.
And when I first heard of it, actually, I remember it was a YouTube comment, and I didn't believe it at first. Like it was just some random YouTube comment, and then I found out later, from various YouTube people, including TJ, that that happened.
Yeah, it was kind of the same with me. I saw a friend of mine posted, like a picture of Neil Armstrong on Facebook saying, rest in peace. And I was thinking, whoa, wait a minute. So then I Googled it, and there it was.
He's gone. He
has left the world a second time.
Oh man, that's just sad when you put it like that.
I know.
Not sad like in a bogus way, just sad like, oh man, that's so depressing when you put it like that.
It's kind of deep. Really.
I know, well, deep, you know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, he's left the world a second time. We wanted to also talk about just what's happened. It's been over 40 years now since he landed on the moon, and he'll always be remembered for that. Being the first man to walk on the moon. His famous quote when he first landed on the moon.
Yeah.
His famous quote, right?
Yeah. One small step for man.
One giant leap for mankind.
Yeah.
And it's just I remember him saying in an interview how they thought and this was not just him, but this was my parents and probably your parents' generation, how they thought there was gonna be a moon base and we're gonna be already putting the first man on Mars, and it's movies like 2001: A Space Odyssey were supposed to represent that,
Yeah.
And well, nothing really happened,
Yeah, it was a good theory.
Yeah, I mean, don't you think that kind of sucks though? That nothing much has really actually happened since then, though.
In 40 years, yeah, I think a lot could have been done.
Right, exactly.
Really, I mean a lot. I don't know what happened there, but it seems as if everybody just completely lost interest. I mean, despite the fact that it's kind of a big thing,
I mean, I for one am interested in space exploration, but I know for a fact that I will probably never be able in my life have that happen,
This is the land of opportunity for a reason, but I get what you're saying.
I mean, but it's completely understandable that, it's been over 40 years now, and, nothing has happened.
Yeah.
I mean, we're basically stuck, in the same kind of area we've been in for the past 40 years.
Just about,
I remember, it was either last year or a couple years ago, but it was still within the 40-year range, and my mom told me, it's this many years, over 40 years since, the moon landing happened, because she saw it, on TV, how, on the news, they were saying, today's the anniversary of Neil Armstrong landing on the moon, right? And,
right.
I was just yeah, so what, And, I guess it's different for her generation because they remember that, so, it's probably bigger for them, but, for me, it's yeah, so what, that happened 40 years ago, and, I mean, I'd probably be more enthusiastic if more stuff happened, after that, but, come on, it's been, a while now, and nothing has happened, that's why I wasn't really impressed or happy or satisfied when I heard that news, oh, yeah, it's been over 40 years, and we haven't really done anything.
I mean, for them, that was a huge thing. You know, that literally was a giant leap for mankind. I mean, especially at the time. You know, so I'm sure everybody would be pretty influenced by that for years to come.
I mean, like, probably, like, just imagine being a kid back then, you know, thinking, wow, you know, we just landed on the moon. Pretty soon we're gonna be, you know, building, like, you know, buildings on the moon, and, you know, going to Mars, and now that's just back then, and thinking about that happening, and then, you know, it just didn't happen.
Could have, but
I just think I think it could have happened, but like leaders and politicians, you know, have the wrong mindset about things, you know.
Yeah, and you know, one thing I heard you say, I don't know if this would be jumping into a completely different subject, but one thing I heard you say, kind of relating to that, was a bit of a shock to me. You know, how Obama cut spending for, you know, for the space program.
Yeah, he cut funding for NASA. I mean, NASA still does stuff, but like not like what they used to.
Well, yeah, but it to me that shows a feeling of, you know, disregard and why cut spending? Why? I mean, yeah, it's true. It probably doesn't provide any profitable gain. Like it's not like we're going. It's not like because the space program that we're able to, you know, harvest minerals from, you know, the moon or something like that. It's not really producing any profit, but it's for the good of science, you know, and it does provide a lot of jobs.
I mean, it's just like I don't think they're like thinking, you know, in that sense, like for the good of humanity, the good of science, you know, like I think it's just always been about, you know, political interest, you know.
Yeah.
And they retired the space program too, right?
I'm sorry?
The space shuttle program, they retired that too.
Yeah, that I was aware of.
I mean, like, even back, like, during when we landed on the moon, you know, that wasn't for, you know, the purpose of science and, like, exploration. That was for the purpose of getting in the Soviet Union's face and being like, heck, yeah, we got to the moon first before you guys did, in your face. What are you going to do about that, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what that really was about. I mean, like, that was just, like, being like, yeah, we're going to land a guy on the moon first before anyone else because we want to just show the rest of the world that we can do it before anyone else can do it, you know?
Yeah, I mean, basically, I refer to the Cold War. I make a metaphor of it. U.S. and the Soviet Union are basically those two guys you see in the locker rooms comparing penis size.
Right.
Yeah, and that was, I'd say that was pretty good evidence of it right there, you know? It's
right.
Like, what now? We got a guy on the moon. Or no, when it happened, you know, it probably said something like, you launched the first man in space, we launched the first man on the moon.
Yeah, we launched the first man on the moon.
Yeah, I mean, it's true, Russia did beat us to, like, getting to space, but, you know,
because of Sputnik.
Yeah. Yeah, but we managed to retort. We managed to make a comeback.
Right. But, like,
all just for, you know, for the competition.
Right, and that's really what it seems to be about. At the end of the day, it was just about the competition, nothing more, nothing less. You know.
Yeah.
Because like, I just feel like, you know, if it was about more than that, you know, we would, you know, like I said earlier, you know, have more stuff going on. Do you agree?
Yeah. It's as if people are completely underlooking this. There's, I mean, like, you get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
Like, they're just thinking, oh, it's no big deal. Why bother with that? It's nothing major. it's got potential. Why underlook it like that?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Some people are just, I guess they're so like, they're so caught up with their lives, I guess, that like they really don't seem to care about like stuff outside of their lives, like stuff
Yeah.
like space and space exploration and going to the moon and stuff like that.
Right.
I mean, hey, maybe like if when we do go back to the moon, hopefully we will go back to the moon sometime soon. But maybe like one of the first things like we're gonna have going back to the reasons we're going to go back to the moon is for economic reasons. Like
Yes.
they find like minerals on the moon. Like or they find like gold or some like random mineral like that, or like random material that could be used to make a profit off of. And
So yeah, some kind of material.
yeah, and like a corporation like finds interest in that, so they're willing to invest in that, and that's how we apparently now are going to get people to the moon through corporations.
Kind of reminds me of the movie Avatar. How they were mining that one planet.
Yeah, and it makes logical sense. I mean, like
I can see that happening.
yeah,
Like especially with us.
and especially like I just because of like our economic situation, us being like a free market capitalist country.
Yeah. Yeah. The whole free enterprise and all that, and
And
the anything goes kind of mentality.
I mean, like when it comes to like like in the future, well, I mean, just like right now, I mean, like in terms of like space, like bringing people up to space, going to like the moon, that's gonna be done in the future. As it seems like right now, it's gonna be done in the future by like private organizations or corporations. Like
Exactly.
Virgin Mobile, Virgin America. That company is also working, from what I remember, is working on space space technology and getting people to space, for the purpose of commercial like airlines and stuff like
Right.
that. Or like in the sense of like a corporation or like a company, like we just talked about like 1 minute ago, going to a planet or going to an asteroid or a moon for the purpose of depositing minerals.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah,
just the way it seems right now.
Yeah. Just basically only reaping the benefits. So.
All right, well, that's about it now. So we just wanted to talk about it. Any last things you want to say, Zach?
It. I guess just one thing to sum up my feelings on it. Like kind of a conclusion. It's kind of disheartening, like knowing that such a marvel, in the field of science, or just a marvel in general, is being overlooked as a result of profit and a result of pride, of status. It's being used. It's being taken advantage of, and it's
Disheartening.
just kind of, yeah. It's kind of sad knowing that such a marvel is being defiled in such a way.
I mean, like in terms of Neil Armstrong, I mean, just imagine I don't know. I mean, like if I was in his shoes, being at his age, being
Yeah.
being. I mean, even if he wasn't the first person to ever go to the moon, just having the opportunity back then to be one of the first people to ever like go off this planet, and like just go to another like something that's not Earth, just being able to just travel in space, and like, I mean, like he said in an interview, like how he thought there might be, like other stuff around now, and that's understandable to think, because
Yeah.
you land on the moon, great, like I'm pretty you'd be pretty confident, and you expect there to be like a lot more to come, but that didn't happen. We s- you know.
And apparently he felt that way too.
So I mean, that's just like one thing I feel about like Neil, you know. I mean, like he will always be remembered though. So
yeah, of course.
I mean, you know, first man to walk the moon. I mean, like, you know, like he got that opportunity, you know, and I bet he, like, you know, loved that he had the opportunity to like do what so few other people have, you know, been ever able to do.
Or what I'm sure some people have dreamed of doing at the time. So.
Alright, well, thanks for listening in, everyone.
Take care, everyone.